Life magazine.
And that's the last you saw of your savings?
Yes.
This is so weird.
I know, right?
Weird? Not really. Not saving now means no money later. You'd be surprised how quickly a little money from every paycheck can really add up. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
The armor is cool, though. Oops. I think I broke its gauntlet.
You broke my favorite part.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Talk 1470, WWNN, Pompano Beach, Boca Raton, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Before his injury, John Bennett was a career soldier. While serving in Iraq, he was shot by a sniper.
Stepped out, turned back towards the Humvee, and as soon as I did, I got hit. It shattered 2 vertebrae and fractured another one. I ended up losing my right kidney, my spleen, my colon, and half my pancreas.
John's wife, Dina.
Paralyzed Veterans of America got us our benefits.
Senior National Service Officer Michael Killen.
I helped him fill out the forms. I hand carried the forms over to the VA and walked them through the system.
You're just trying to survive, and they help you along the way.
It's very nice to see when your work pays off and you're very successful in it, because you can see the change in that veteran.
Him starting a taxidermy business is accomplishing something every day.
I'm glad to be back to work.
To learn more about Paralyzed Veterans of America, visit pva.org. A public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
AM 1470, WNN, with more of what you need to know. Tune in for No Bones About It with Dr. Alvin Stein, Tuesday mornings at 11 on South Florida's Health and Wealth Network, AM 1470, WNN.
In the last decade, more than 400,000 people died on America's roadways. That's one person every 13 minutes. Roadway deaths strike the young or old at any time of the year, at any hour of the day or night. And it doesn't matter whether you drive a car on a highway, ride a motorcycle or bicycle on a country road, or simply take a walk near traffic. Everyone is at risk. Since 1969, members of the American Traffic Safety Services Association have worked diligently to make our nation's roadways safer by providing the majority of roadway safety features, including bright signs and pavement markings, guardrails, and crash cushions. These are just some of the roadway devices that save thousands of lives each day. Since most of our roadways were built in the 1950s, there's so much more work that needs to be done to reach the ultimate goal of 0 deaths. Safer roads save lives. To learn how you can get involved, visit atssa.com. A public service message from the American Traffic Safety Services Association.
Talk health. Talk wealth. Talk politics. Talk 1470, WNN.
The war had been going on for 2 years, and I got the calling. I got the calling to join the service and support the boys over there.
Thousands of American troops have come home from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, suffering the effects of post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injuries.
I never thought that I would have PTSD. I thought that I had enough coping skills.
I don't think anybody who goes into combat could ever honestly say that they're not different when they come home.
What you take as a simple thing is not so simple for me anymore.
I'm going to have my good days and my bad days, and I really don't like those bad days.
I would say to those people that are out there, don't brush us aside and don't count us out.
Help the USO support these troops and their families. Hear more of their stories at usoinvisiblewounds.org. The wounds are invisible. The stories are real.
The opinions expressed in the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show, the place to fine-tune your swing, dress for the course, club, or cruise, and get tips on the best places to play and stay at the right price. Vacation or staycation, host Dan Shub, along with his expert co-hosts and guests, will tell you where to go. To play golf and vacation, that is. Now, here's Dan.
We'll be talking some golf. We'll be talking some travel, and we've got a great show in store for you tonight. In just a couple of minutes, we'll be chatting with Candace Ely, and she's the Director of Public Relations for the San Diego Tourism Authority. And I love San Diego. It's a great place to visit, so we're going to find out what's going on there for the summer season. And then a little bit later in the show, we will be talking to Parker Real, and he is the president of Ski Vermont, and seems to be a trend. Last week we were talking a little bit about Val and what ski resorts do in the summer, and they've got a lot going on in Vermont as well. Another one of my favorite places to visit, and that's why I thought I would share it with everybody else so you could find out what's going on there too. Of course, we do have a couple of Dan's deals and some travel news, and actually we also have a special Father's Day giveaway that we're going to start tonight. We're going to kick that off. And typically I introduce my co-host, Jess Frank, from the Jess Frank Golf Academy at this time, but he's actually traveling for a change. Usually I'm the one who's out of the studio. He's back in New York. We're up in New York, where I'll be visiting soon myself, too. It seems to be a trend as well around here. But he'll be back with us next week. But, of course, if you want to learn more about Jess and the Jess Frank Golf Academy, just visit jessfrankgolf.com. But what I wanted to do is I had kind of teased everybody a little bit with this giveaway. And every once in a while, I'm fortunate to have a product land in my hands that I can share with one of our listeners or followers on Facebook. And this one I just thought was really unique, and I thought with Father's Day coming up soon that this would be a perfect item to give to that father or grandfather that has everything. Or you can keep it for yourself if you choose. But this product has not been available around here before that I know of. I've never seen it before. And it's so new that I just thought that I'd talk a little bit about it. So it is actually a grip for a putter, which for me is not the norm that I would use because I'm still using the long putter, so those have different kinds of grips. But for a traditional putter, it's a product called Cork Tree, and it's actually made out of a cork product. They call it cork leather, so I guess it's kind of like a veneer of cork. And it's just very, very cool because it's all natural, and it has a lot of properties that an all-natural product might have that a synthetic product might not have. And, it's an oversized putter, which, of course, is very popular these days. The one that I happen to have here, they call it Stumpy because it's a little bit more robust, I guess. But it performs really well, according to them, when your hands are hot and sweaty, which, at least for anybody listening in Florida this time of year, all of our hands are hot and sweaty. And what's also cool about it is because it's a living, breathing item coming from a cork tree. Each one has different, they call it a fingerprint. I used to work in the marble business, and it was the same kind of thing. The marbling, the veining would be unique, and it was quite fascinating how they all look different. But it's pretty cool. They're also easy to clean, hypoallergenic as well. And, again, to hear about this product being a green product, I never really gave it much thought. Most of us, I guess, come into contact with corks when they open up their bottle of wine. But what they do to get the cork is they actually harvest it, or they strip the bark off of the trees. And they have their own forest in Portugal, which 50% of the world's cork happens to come from Portugal. And who knew that? But interesting nonetheless. But when they remove the bark from the tree continues to live. As a matter of fact, it lives in excess of 200 years. And they can re-harvest the cork every 9 years on the tree. It grows back. So it's quite a green product as well, which I thought was pretty cool. So if you want to learn more about this item, Cork Tree, you can go to corkputtergrips.com, and you can find out more about it. If you want to win this one that I'm holding here in my hands right now, all you got to do is go to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/The Golf and Travel Show. And like the page or make a post on the page. You can go to the post for tonight's show where I've got a picture of the Cork Tree products and just like it, or say what your favorite use of cork has been up until this point when you're going to hopefully use it for your putter grip. So that's Cork Tree, and like I say, corkputtergrips.com if you want to find out more information. So in about a week or so, we're going to pick a winner at random, and somebody will have this as a very, very cool gift that somebody has never seen before, or like I say, it might be something that you just want to keep for yourself. Also, right now is the time we usually have Jess giving a tip, and you don't want to get a tip from me. So instead, I'm just going to give you a tip on some pretty cool things that are going on perhaps. And I've got some friends over at a place called Billy Casper Golf, and may he rest in peace. Mr. Casper passed away recently, but his company continues to thrive as one of the larger operators of golf courses in the world, as well as one of the top public relations firms working within the golf industry. And they have been doing this event. This will be the 5th year now, the 5th annual World's Largest Golf Outing. And it's pretty cool, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And the best thing about it is it benefits the Wounded Warrior Project, so that's quite cool unto itself. But they have this event taking place on Monday, August 3rd, and it's going to be played at over 150 courses across America. So anybody living anywhere can get on board with this if they would like to. Last year they had over 12,000 golfers, and they raised just a little under $1 million for injured veterans and their families. And it's just pretty cool. And what you need to do is if you go to the worldslargestgolfouting.com, it's a long thing to type in, but that's where you could find out all the information about it and what's going on with it, and find out where you could play. Last year, one of the more famous people who participated was Bill Clinton. And he's a recipient in 2014 of the PGA of America's Distinguished Service Awards because he does support charities like this. But all across America, people were competing in this event, and everybody gets entered to win a grand prize, and there's other prizes by teams based on the best scores of the day. And it's just an event of this size is quite unusual, and it takes a company like Billy Casper Golf, who really has their finger on the pulse of golf in this country, to be able to throw an event like this together. But to have everybody all over the country all competing, and to be able to raise all that kind of money for a really, really good cause is just nothing short of remarkable. You could also find out more information about the Wounded Warrior Project by going to their website, and that would be woundedwarriorproject.org. And I've met some of their people there, and it's a great organization doing wonderful work for people that really need it, and people who gave a lot for our country. So it's great to support them. Also, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw out a golf deal in the front of the show. I usually do that more towards the end, but this one is coming from some friends of the show. We've had them on the show already. I've had a chance to visit a couple of times recently, and this would be the Mission Inn Resort and Club. It's just a little bit north of Orlando in a tiny little town called Howey in the Hills. And it is a great place to go and play golf and stay, and there's a lot more than golf going on there. And as a matter of fact, what they're doing for the summer is they have a new package that's priced quite attractively. The summer is the time to come to Florida. You can get some really great deals here. And they're calling it the Bass and Birdies package. And, obviously people who play golf often like to fish as well, and here you could do both of them. Nearby, they've got Big Lake Harris, which has hosted some very prominent fishing tournaments, and of course they've got two wonderful golf courses, that one of which is one of the oldest ones in the state of Florida, and that would be El Campeon, and I just love that golf course. It started back in 1917, so it's been around a long time. It's old Florida at its finest, and it includes a lot of other things with this. You get your room, you get a buffet breakfast, a complimentary rod and reel, shuttle service to the lake, 18 holes of golf each night of your stay, advanced tee times, shared golf cart, a discount on their unlimited seafood buffet on Saturday or their Sunday brunch. The only thing they don't include is the fishing license, which is a mere $16, and the boat rental. But this package starts at as little as $130 per person per night. And when you think about playing golf on one of the best golf courses you'll play on, and staying at a really nice, cool place with great service and a family atmosphere, family owned and operated since the beginning of time. Mission Inn, it's I can't recommend this place high enough. To find out more information, you could go right to their website, missioninresort.com, click on golf. You'll find out all about the Bass and Birdies package. And like I say, now is the time to do it. Come down to Florida. You're not too far from Orlando. Send the kids to visit Mickey, and go play a little bit of golf and hit the spa when you're done, and you won't regret it. So, all right, what I think we're going to do now is take a very, very quick break, and then what we're going to do is we're going to come back with our guest, Candace Ely, and she's the Director of Public Relations for San Diego Tourism, and they've got great plans for you this summer. All you need to do is get out there. So we'll find out exactly what's going on there, so stay tuned for more of the Golf and Travel Show. We'll be right back. And we are back, and time for a quick message from my friend, my co-host, who's enjoying himself on his vacation. So if you want to get a lesson with him, you got to wait till he gets back. But that would be, of course, none other than Jess Frank from the Jess Frank Golf Academy, the home of the playing lesson, and my co-host, Jess Frank, who for 15 years has been improving golfers' ball striking, consistency, and distance. He's a PGA teaching professional and the owner of the Jess Frank Golf Academy, located in Boca Raton at the beautiful Boca Dunes Golf and Country Club. If you're a seasoned golfer who's trying to break 80 or a beginner, Jess's passion is to help you play better golf and have a lot of fun while doing it. Each lesson includes on-course time with V1 video analysis, focusing on improving all facets of your game. And for a limited time, new students who mention the Golf and Travel Show will receive a $50 Edwin Watts gift card with the purchase of a series of lessons. To learn more about the services of the Jess Frank Golf Academy, call 561-213-8579. That's 561-213-8579, or visit JessFrankGolf.com. Also, check out Jess's videos on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And we are back, and we're going to be talking about a place that I like to visit. I've been fortunate enough in the recent past on 2 occasions to go to Vermont for business trips, stayed in Stowe, visited Burlington, did it in the summer months because that's just the kind of guy I am. And I know that there's great skiing to be done there, and everybody loves to ski Vermont. But surprisingly enough, and maybe not that surprising, they've got a lot of stuff that's going on in the summer as well, and stuff that I like to do, and I'm sure you might like to do it too. And to find out a little bit more about it, the Director of Public Relations, well, actually, no, excuse me, I'm confusing the music. I know the music got me confused. We have it mixed up. So we have to switch. Let me change gears. We're talking San Diego first and Vermont second. Pardon me. So Candace Ely, the Director of Public Relations for San Diego Tourism, she's going to be with us. That's my other favorite place to visit. I've been out there. I've stayed at the Lowe's. I've stayed at the Hilton and the Gas Lamp. I've had some wonderful meals there. One of my other favorite places to visit. So Candace, are you with us?
I am.
I'm sorry.
Vermont's lovely too, but I do have a little bit of a soft spot for San Diego.
Well, good, and so do I. And you have to excuse me when my co-host isn't here to keep me straight. You know, this is what happens. But in any event, as I mentioned, I love San Diego, and I haven't been there for maybe a year or so. So I'm kind of longing to get back. And when I read a little bit about some of the things that you guys have going on out there, I was just, it got me wanting to come back, and I just thought that maybe it would be a good time to share it with some of our listeners who have either been there and it's been a while or have never been to San Diego. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what goes on in the summer in San Diego?
You know, summer in San Diego is pretty attractive on its own. You know, you've got the beach, we have our amazing weather, but summer is also the time when you see a lot of festivals, a lot of fairs. There's just a lot of activity going around in the different neighborhoods. So it really, when you look at the diversity of what happens in San Diego during the summer, there's something for everyone. So, you know, we pretty much say that any activity that you can imagine you can find in San Diego, the only exceptions being snow skiing and snowboarding, but, I don't think that's where people's heads are in the summer, so you can come out to San Diego and do just about anything else you can imagine.
Now, the first time I ever visited San Diego, I guess I was a teenager, and obviously the biggest thing and the most exciting thing then was the zoo. We all wanted to go to the zoo, and I guess that was in Balboa Park, and they've done some upgrades and renovations recently, haven't they?
Absolutely. They recently opened a new koala exhibit, which is fantastic. And then at Balboa Park on the whole, this year, 2015, is actually Balboa Park's centennial year. So they have a lot of activity going on throughout the year, especially during the summer. They're going to have a centennial organ festival that runs from June through August, and that is in the gorgeous Spreckled Organ Pavilion, which is one of the original features all the way back from 1915. And then the museums in the park all have fun exhibitions as well that reflect back on Balboa Park's 100 years. And even if you're not interested in the history aspect of it, like you said, the zoo is right in Balboa Park, and there are some amazing gardens and all sorts of other things that you can do to just spend the day there. And the diversity, again, there's so much. If you're coming with your family or your friends, there will be something for everyone in your group.
Yeah, and I think I was probably there when it first opened, it seems like, but only kidding. But the more recently when I've been there and had different kinds of experiences, I really enjoyed my time in the Gaslamp Quarter. And the restaurants, the clubs, the whole atmosphere, the festivities, and of course the beer too. Now that's relatively new. All the microbreweries and brew pubs that you guys have. Why don't you talk a little bit about places to eat and places to drink and the festive atmosphere down in that district?
Absolutely, the Gaslamp Quarter. It's actually a pretty small area if you look at it geographically. It covers about 12 blocks, but within that span, there's close to 200 restaurants. And as you mentioned, there's clubs and bars, and so you can, even if you don't have a plan in mind, you just go out for the evening. You can go from bar to bar, restaurant to restaurant, and just kind of make it up as you go along. And as you mentioned, our craft beer scene is incredible. In fact, we're just about to close in on 100 craft breweries in the city of San Diego. So that gives you a little bit of a sense of how much there is to do on that front.
Yeah, and I mean, you have also. I was going to say that you have so many wonderful restaurants down there. Oftentimes I've just Yelped, a good restaurant where I happened to be standing and walked in and was incredibly surprised at the quality of the food that the restaurants have down there.
Yeah, that's one of the really nice things is you don't have to do a lot of planning and research to find something great. Within, especially if you're staying downtown, which a lot of people like to do for convenience, there's just so much right at your fingertips. You can just walk out and explore, and you're guaranteed to find something good.
Now, other things for the kids, for instance, I know that, of course, SeaWorld is out there. That was another huge attraction back in the day when I was younger, but now there's also Legoland out there, too?
Yes, Legoland is about 45 minutes north of San Diego, so it's a bit further of a drive, but hugely popular with kids. They have some new attractions that they're debuting this summer. It's always very popular for fans of Star Wars because they have some really impressive Star Wars scenes and recreations that they've done in Legos. So there's a few, I think, grown-up kids that really enjoy going to Legoland as well.
Now, also, when I was out there one time, I stayed out in the Coronado area. And, of course, I stayed at the Lowe's, which was a beautiful property, but we also visited, what is it? Is it the Del Coronado or something? Or
the Hotel Del Coronado,
right.
Yes,
I mean, I was there, I think it was Christmas time, and they had an ice skating rink set up outside. It was very cool.
Yes, right on the sand. They do that every Christmas.
Yep. Yeah, but what a beautiful place to visit and have a drink or a bite or stay if you're fortunate enough to.
Absolutely, and even if you are not staying in Coronado, there's a ferry from the downtown Embarcadero over to Coronado, so you can go over for the day. Don't have to worry about driving over the bridge or finding parking. You can just take the ferry, and I think it's only $2 one way, so it's a great way to get over there and explore.
Now, talking about the beach, it just gave me a thought about the weather in San Diego. Obviously, for the most part, people talk about it being the nicest, most consistent, year round. But I know California, sometimes their seasons are a little bit different than, we're used to here in Florida or in the Northeast, where a lot of our listeners are too. So what kind of weather, if you want to go to the beach or the zoo or the park or whatever, would you expect during the summer months?
It's funny. Whenever you talk about seasons in San Diego, we have to, do it with a little bit of a wink because our seasons are not terribly dramatic. But what's interesting is that May and June actually tend to be a little gloomier. There's a little bit more chill in the air. And our warmest months are really September and October. So if you're coming later in the summer, you can expect it to be pretty warm. But if you're coming earlier in the summer, we recommend, bring a light jacket, especially if you're going to be out by the water or out in the evening. It can get a little bit of a chill.
Yeah, I remember that as well. I just know that it's strange. I mean, in Northern California, it's different as well. The last time I went to San Francisco, I thought that I was going to be frozen in the summer, and I brought a winter coat, and they had like 95-degree heat, which so it's different.
You never quite know, but at least in San Diego, the variance will be slight, so a light jacket usually will cover you.
Well, for the listeners here in Florida, when our summer lasts about 8 months, and it's just in the 90s and humid every single day, it never changes. So for us, sometimes to go to a place where there is a cool breeze is a blessing. So that's okay. Another place that I visited in one of my trips to your area that I thought was a cool area that is nearby is La Jolla.
Oh, it's a beautiful area. It's one of the most, I think, scenic parts of San Diego, which is already a pretty beautiful city, but the cliffs and the shoreline in that part of the city are just absolutely beautiful, very Mediterranean looking almost, with beautiful blue water.
Yeah, and what was cool was I can't remember the name of the property I stayed at. It wasn't famous. It was right by the water, and right outside the property, all the sea lions would lay on the rocks right there.
Yes, that is a very popular site for visitors and for locals. I mean, I love going and watching the sea lions and the seals that make their home there. They like that part of the coastline because there are so many coves that it's very protected, and they can go and have their pups there. And especially in the spring and in the summer, you see a lot of the young seals and sea lions, and it's just so much fun to watch them. And they are quite bold. I've been out on a kayak in La Jolla, and they'll come pretty close up to your kayak, which is a very cool experience.
I bet. I mean, they're fascinating to watch, and it's one thing to, it's great to see animals at the zoo, but when you can see them in their own habitat, that's a real treat. So it's very cool to get
better.
that close. Now, another one of the things that I like to do, but I never had a chance to do it out by you, is to visit the racetrack. And you do have a very famous racetrack, and your fairgrounds are there, and I believe that there's quite a regal hotel there. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Del Mar?
Yes, so Del Mar, it's about 20 minutes north of downtown San Diego, and as you mentioned, very famous for its racetrack. We like to say it's the track where the surf meets the turf. You can see the ocean as you're approaching the track, and it's a beautiful, beautiful track with spectacular facilities. And then that track area also hosts the San Diego County Fair every year as well, which is usually very popular for locals and visitors, and probably best known for the unusual concoctions that they come up with for fair food every year.
Yeah, no, I mean, state fairs are a lot of fun, and each state is a little bit different as far as how they run and what the local types of foods that they offer, and it's always a good time. I enjoy going to the state fairs. And now, you had mentioned a little bit about the weather, and being that San Diego does have good weather year-round, is there a season, and is this a more expensive or a less expensive time to come visit San Diego in the summer?
Summer is definitely a peak travel season for San Diego, so it can be a little bit more expensive. Of course, we do, on the San Diego Tourism Authority's website, we do offer special hotel packages and deals, so you can get a little bit of a price break there. And if you're looking to save money, I would say the best time of year to come is really early fall. Again, that's when you'll have really high temperatures, so it's a great time to go to the beach. And then at the same time, kids are back in school, so attractions tend to be less crowded. I think that's really one of my favorite times of year to visit is around September.
Okay. And so if you were listening to the show right now and you wanted to come visit San Diego, what's the best advice for the listeners? When is the time to start to plan it? Where can they get the most information? And what would maybe your top 5 things that they have to do?
Well, I would say start by going to sandiego.org. We have a very, very robust website there that has everything from hotels, restaurants, attractions, maps, lists of craft breweries. You can really start to narrow down what you're looking for there. And, give yourself a little bit of time to plan. I think, a couple of months is